Ding, 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 ding. That's all we've got time for. See you next week, folks. Now, that wouldn't be so bad if that wasn't the end of the show, the main event, and the semi-final of the TV Championships, or TV tournament, that you've been bigging up throughout the whole of the episode. This is Mid-South Wrestling from 1984. Leg Warmers, Morgan Fairchild. And it's from the 22nd of March. And I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it because, unlike Mid-Atlantic, which I'm watching for the same period, what it doesn't do, it doesn't say we need Ric Flair and we need Dusty Rhodes to be the major leagues of professional wrestling, as they call themselves. What we've got here is a self-contained unit, mainly with Jim Cornette and the Midnight Express, but also Magnum TA, who's also being shown and bigged up in Mid-Atlantic at this time. Well, in 85, so he must have gone straight to them. Anyway, the big event is the tournament, the semi-final of the tournament, between Terry Taylor and Butch Reed. Hacksaw Butch Reed. Can't call himself Hacksaw because I think he got Hacksaw Dugan, or Duggan. Dugan, as he's called by Bill Watts, the Supremo of Mid-South. And Jim Ross, of course, is doing the announcing and also the commentary. And he tends to call him Jim Duggan, but I think he remembers halfway through and calls him Dugan. Anyway, the TV title is really important. It's £10,000, and I think it's a medal, I think you get. And it's a title, isn't it? So, really important. And Butch Reed wants the money. And Terry Taylor wants the chance. So, they have, over the past few weeks, not provided a board, a velvet board with anything on it, or what they provide is a piece of cardboard, a white piece of cardboard, to show that, to show the brackets, a white piece of cardboard with black marker pen on it. And they have actually, it's not like they did that once and then thought, we can't do that again. We'll have to do something proper. They've kept doing it and kept showing us it, as if they're proud of it, as if they're proud of the very utilitarian nature of it. So, that's your main event. There's no outcome. Well, more of this in a minute, because I'm getting ahead of myself. Now, last week, Bill Watts, who, of course, is the Supremo of Mid-South and used to be a wrestler himself, inserted himself into business because he smacked Jim Cornette. James E. Cornette, who's the manager of the Midnight Express, of course, Dennis Condrey and Bobby Eaton. He smacked him one, and this week, we start with Jim Ross telling us that he's not well. Bill Watts, for a particular reason. So first of all, we see Bill Watts interviewing Terry Taylor, who tells us, I've got some notes down here, who tells us that he wants that title. We then see a bit of him being photographed on a fashion shoot to Jay Giles. Dun, dun, freeze frame, dun, dun, freeze frame, do, 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 do. Get that. Then you get him interviewing Hacksaw Butch Reed, or just Butch Reed in this promotion. And we see a vignette of him, or a bit of a promo to Rapper's Delight. Okay, now one's rap and one's not. Maybe Butch Reed asked for that. And it's good to hear it, but during that discussion, out comes James E. Cornette, stands away, but is obviously distracting to Bill Watts. Bill Watts obviously is distracted as well, and misses the Midnight Express coming in to beat him up. I don't know how you do that, because there's a huge expanse of space, and you'd probably catch them out of your peripheral vision, maybe. You might see them coming over. They beat him up, they stomp him. Apparently, he was badly lacerated, and according to Jim Ross, it was a tragedy. A tragedy. Well, it was tragic, he said. Tragic. She was severely lacerated. I don't know how, because they said they got some kind of item, like a blackjack thing, to smack him on the head, and he's severely lacerated. Later on, we will hear he's been taken to a medical facility. He's unconscious, folks. But he's now in an angle, isn't he? So the fella's in an angle. And James E. Cornette's delighted with all that. He's very pleased. By the way, Terry Taylor says that he is a nervous wreck at the thought of facing Butch Reed. I like that. I like that honesty from the gentleman. So, going back to Jim Cornette, he's delighted. And he's got the first match. So it's the Midnight Express versus Obie Davis and Josh Stroud. You know who's going to win here, don't you? But the Midnight Express are just great together. And so is James E. Cornette, resplendent in a sky blue sport jacket, red pants, and a red tie. Yes. Fashion plate. I'm not quite sure it's a well done plate. I think it's probably a broken plate, but never mind. Never mind. Anyway, Cornette then goes to the microphone desk, to the commentary desk, and wants Jim Ross to go because he's got a mic himself. It's a good match, this. Eaton back elbow. Well, I mean, Obie and Josh don't get much offense, but the Midnight Express is superb, as you know. So there's an Eaton back elbow, a Condry nice big boot, a back suplex. Then I love the spot. They call it the Gravedigger. Cornette says, it puts you 6 feet under. Vertical suplex from Condry, hands off. I think it's Obie Davis to Bobby Eaton, or was it the other way round, who's on the second rope, super power slam, and they don't even get the pin from that. They want to see Eaton come off the top with the elbow, Macho Man style, and that's the pin. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Now, their champion is Mr. Wrestling, too. You know, he's been going bad for a while, and he split with Magnum TA. That seems to have been forgotten now, to be honest. And Magnum TA's nowhere to be seen this week. They were bigging him up massively. Oh, no, he is in later. He is in, but he's not featured. Anyway, Mr. Wrestling 2 is now your heavyweight champion. He beat the Junkyard Dog, who now will have to go from Mid-South for 90 days. Didn't beat him in a way you could be proud of, it seems. Beat him nefariously. And he's facing Leaping Lanny Poffo, and this is a bloody awful match. Mainly, the excitement comes from Jim Cornette on commentary. And as he says, he didn't recognise Boyd Pierce, who's the other. He's your host. Wears very loud jackets. And he said, I didn't recognise Boyd without your suit plugged in. Great. Just great. Mr. Wrestling 2 is okay. It's nothing special. Some punches. He likes his knee to the face. I mean, Lanny doesn't get very much offence here at all. Clunky headlock from Mr. Wrestling 2. Really too close to the ropes. They don't quite know what to do to get out of it. There's a Lanny punch, but there's a Mr. Wrestling 2, or Wrestling 2, knee putting him down, a headlock. Jim Cornette then says to Boyd Pierce, I bet you were a big deal before electricity. That's great. I love all that. And there's a big Mr. Wrestling 2 knee for the pin. It was terrible. Okay, next we've got the Russians. Nikolai Volkoff versus Barry Darsow, really, but Khrushchev, who's used to carry a red shovel to the ring. I don't know why, but now they've stopped doing that, it seems. And versus Randy Barber and John King. It's not very long in that there is a Khrushchev slam. Volkoff misses a big boot, but it's still sold by Randy Barber, I think. Lifts him up, presses him, kind of slams him, but keeps hold of him for the pin. It's short, it's not particularly sweet, it's a bit weird, and we're moving on. Masao Ito versus Hacksaw Duggan, or Duggan. The fans are apparently, according to Boyd, going literally crazy. Well, then we need 2 doctors to make sure they're all sectioned. Don't we? Because it could be a danger to people outside the building. Okay, we've got an elbow drop from Duggan, a rather poor clothesline. Nice leg drop from Masao Ito, but Duggan kind of, I'm going to get excited. He hulks up to name another promotion, or name another kind of promotion. Hulks up to get a headlock, then chokes him with the shin. Now that's a heel move. Well, it's a shin move, but you know what I mean. And then apparently gets a spear. He doesn't. He came off the ropes and just collided with him. He jumped at him, but he just collided with him. There's no spear involved. He didn't get him around the ribs area. He just kind of hit him around the shoulder area. In come Volkoff and Krusher with the rope around the throat. Ito wants to get some work done with them. And obviously Dugan is not going to really be able to help himself in that situation. So we get the Rock and Roll Express and rock and roll is king. Yeah, and Magnum TA, not featured this week, who run Khrushchev and Volkoff out of there. Apparently, according to Jim Ross, Volkoff had the coal miner's glove. Now, they had a coal miner's glove match, him and Duggan, and that's why Duggan's been away for a while, came back last week, because he beat him with that coal miner's glove, and after beating him in the coal miner's glove match. And Hacksaw Jim Duggan was saying, it's my coal miner's glove. I don't think he owns it. I think it was just there for the match, wasn't it? He's not said, I'm bringing my own coal miner's glove and make sure I get it back afterwards. Ooh, that Volkoff's got it. A bit weird, but anyway, he almost got him with the coal miner's glove, which is it's a steel glove thing, isn't it? I think. Anyway, your main event, as I've said before, is this much ballyhooed semi-final for the TV title, which is a really good match. In that Butch Reed is bigger, and you've also got Terry Taylor, who's using his speed, his quickness, if you like. And you've got Jim Ross calling, he announces it, and he calls Butch Reed a challenger, then realises that perhaps I shouldn't say the word challenger. You've got Terry using his speed and Butch Reed having to bail early on. Then there's a Terry Taylor armbar. Butch Reed slams him. Terry Taylor holds on. He works the arm, does Taylor. Then you've got some Butch Reed stomps, a Terry Taylor drop kick, a slam and a sudden Butch Reed kick to change the momentum. Reed gets the elbow off the top, which is lovely. They've got 3 minutes of TV time remaining. Then he gets a front face lock, which is not the kind of move you want when you've only got 3 minutes left. Terry Taylor fights it. And then that's it, folks. But not just that's it, folks. They say, we'll tell you next week who wins. Then the bell rings. So you know the match is ended. Don't give us that bell if you're saying, we'll tell you next week what happens. Because that shows us that the match is finished. It's over. It's a bit weird. They might tell us next week who's won. But how can we tell? That was Mid-South Championship Wrestling from March 1984. And I do hope Bill watched as well. I feel sure he'll come round from that unconsciousness. Ta-ta.